Hey guys, welcome back to the Calibrate Tools and DIY channel. Once again, right back at you on Tuesday. Guys, come on in and let your presence be felt on the chat. And we're gonna have a discussion on something that I feel it's kind of funny, actually, when you think about it, and the dynamics around it and psychology of human beings, right? Surrounding this subject. And you can kind of make parallels to different subjects, say for instance football teams or cars or something like that. It's kind of like the same thing. All right, guys. This is brought to you by Calibrate.com. By the way, check it out. Got some great gifts for you, some great products for you. The holidays are coming up. Take advantage of the sales we have over there. Okay, you got some free shipping, 20% off. Check it out. Grab a gift for your loved one, tool lover, DIY, tradesman in the house, whoever it is. Got it for you. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna dive right into it. I'm not gonna talk too long tonight, but I just find it pretty funny when people roast you because of the type of tools you use. I mean, it's pretty hilarious, and it kind of speaks to the. I don't want to talk down on anyone, but it kind of speaks to the psychology of the individual. I'm trying to be diplomatic here. I'm trying to be, I don't want to call it politically correct, but if you have to go out of your way to roast someone for the type of tools they use, um, I don't know what to think about that. Because at the end of the day, if it works, it works, right? I mean, guys, come in the chat and give me your opinion. I'm looking for tradesmen, tool lovers, DIY people, anybody that likes tools or whatever. Let me know your opinion. Let me know your opinion on this. All right. If you watch my channel for any length of time, I use all kinds of brands, right? Ryobi being one of them, and I can't tell you like how many comments I got on that. And it's funny, but guys, I'm not doing anything. I'm not building homes in this studio here. I'm using uh, tools as demonstrable props, pretty much. Okay, so no need to get all hyped up because you see a Ryobi on this channel. I will keep using Ryobi. I will keep using whatever brand I see fit to do the job, to educate, and all of that. And you can go out there and veg out on whatever brand you want to veg out on. But at the end of the day, that just shows that the marketing works. Okay, and I'm not knocking uh, you, okay, or anybody else who is very cognizant or looks for quality. I look for quality too. But are you buying the tool? Are you getting the tool because you swallowed the pill? Okay, you believe the hype, or are you buying the tool because you did the research? You may have some experience with it, and that you can say, okay, this one has more torque, has more power, it's more durable. So I'm going to get this one. I'm more so talking about the people that they just like to roast people because of what they heard about another tool, all right, or what they what the followers of the group. That's who I'm talking about. Um, so it's not that serious. It's really not. Okay. I mean, it's almost like a football team or a basketball team, how some fans are just like they will lose their what over a tool, right? I mean, I've heard stories of you know guys on construction sites to see another guy come on the site with a Ryobi or some off-brand tool, and they give him the dirtiest looks. They say the worst things to him. And I get it; it could be all in fun, but I mean, does it really matter if you're not a tradesman, right? You're not using tools day in day out, right? Um, brand shouldn't really matter, right? If you're going to use it once, twice a year, or for you're a weekend warrior when it comes to DIY, you don't need to go out there and spend money on like a Festool or something like that. You don't need you really don't. Hey Landon, how you doing? Good to see you, man. Landon, people usually buy it because it passed the torture test, in which it'll never be used for household use. Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, if you're not a tradesman, if you're not, like Landon, I know Landon, uh, Hex HVAC, by the way, that's what Landon runs. Um, yeah, if you're not going to be out there like Landon, in the trenches with tools, you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to watch a million YouTube videos. extolling the virtues of this tool over that tool. Like I said, I use all kinds of tools. I use Ryobi's. I use, you know, it runs the gamut. It runs the gamut for what I need to do, right? So figure out what you need to do, and then get the, you know, spend the appropriate amount on it. Don't, you know, you don't have to stress about that. And if you got a neighbor or somebody on the work site or somebody, you know, around you, a friend or whatever, then maybe that's a personal problem, right? Because you're worried about what they think too much, and that's never a good thing. So yeah, but it's I find it quite hilarious when I come across these stories and when I come across comments on my videos talking about the tools that I use. It's, you know, and I like the comments. Matter of fact, any comment that you throw my way, negative, positive, I'm gonna like it, because hey, you're actually helping me. To be honest with you, you're helping the algorithm. So I love the engagement. Okay, so yeah, so come on in the chat, Landon. What's your favorite tool brand, Landon? Since you're in the chat, tell us what you like to use, and or what you use the most and why you use it. Because we want to hear from a pro. We want to hear from a pro like Landon. So let us know. But in the meantime, while Landon's gonna spill the tea, as they say, on the tools, I was doing the research, and I was reading some comments about it, and I find it pretty insightful. I'm pretty much reiterating. They're pretty much reiterating what I said, or vice versa. It's like, why do people get so mad about what tool brand someone else uses? Like I said, this guy said he's seen people get genuinely heated when he walks onto the job site, right, with Milwaukee tools. And I guess there's a you know, DeWalt and Milwaukee situation going on there, and it's funny, but he said he's seen people just pretty much explode when somebody walks on the site with a Ryobi tool or Mastercraft or a Rigid, you know. And at the end of the day, guys, I mean, at the end of the day, if it works, it works. I don't know, Landon, what do you feel about that? If some of your guys come on the site, Landon says Makita all day. I hear you, Landon. Landon, if one of your guys come on the site and they're not using the Makita, they say they got a Ryobi, do you recommend to your guys, hey, this is the type of tools I recommend for the type of work we do, and I suggest you get it? What would you do if you saw one of your guys walk on the site with the Ryobi tool? Would you give him the side eye, or would you tell him to leave, you know, go home, leave the site? I don't know. I'm sure it happens, you know. I'm sure it happens. Landon says, best battery system, although it's pricey. Okay, yeah. All right, Makita, yeah, I get you. For the type of work, I don't know. Milwaukee has that M18 too. You know, it gives you a run for your money. I did a lot of metal work in the past couple of years, building out trailers and stuff like that. And that drill driver set, the Milwaukee drill driver set, is it's pretty good. Yeah. It says, for the type of work I do, which is most likely backing out screws and reassembling equipment, my batteries last for a month. Okay, so now you're talking about, you know, battery life, right? So when you're talking about quality, right, or I kind of put it into different categories, right? I put it into perceived value. Okay, when you're talking about any product, but we're talking about tools today. Perceived value. What is perceived value? It's what the brand represents to people, right? If you started your tool company way back in the days, right, back in 1940 or whenever you started, some of these tool companies that you see dominating the shelves of these stores today, Home Depot, Lowe's, and all that, then you had time. You had all those decades to build up brand equity, right? So of course, people are going to be, you know, they're going to be more conditioned to like your brand, because you have the budgets to promote that tool. You have the money. You have to promote that tool all over the media and run ads and, you know, do some deep marketing on that stuff. Perigord Life Notes. Did I freeze? Am I okay now, Perigord Life Notes? Am I good? Yeah. So if you're a big brand, if you're a Rigid, a DeWalt, Milwaukee, even a Ryobi, or a what else? Who else they have out there? If you're any of these big brands, you had time. These brands started way back in the days, okay, building up that brand equity, and and they have the deep pockets to really push that brand, and it creates what's called perceived value in people's heads, right? But it took time. It took time for them to get there. Okay. So now they dominate people's heads when it comes to tools, because that's, you don't see the small guy out there that much, right? You don't see the small guy out there that much, and because he's just stepping in the game. He's building up his equity slowly but surely, but he necessarily can't compete. All right. But it doesn't mean he doesn't have a quality product. Doesn't mean he doesn't have a quality product. Okay. And for the sake of fair play, I say sometimes, guys, give the small guy a try. Give the small guy a try and see what they're made of. Now, if the stuff doesn't work out for you, fine. But at least you tried, right? At least you tried. And so, yeah, perceived value is a big thing. And I think that's what a lot of people, not everybody, but a lot of people, they go off of perceived value with a brand name. That's a brand name car. That's a brand name jeans, or brand name shirt, brand name belt, brand name handbag, all this stuff, right? That's how they get us sucked in, right? And that makes it harder for the little guy, if you want to call him that, coming up in the ranks to get a footing in the marketplace, right? So let's expand our minds a little bit and let's do the research ourselves. So the other aspect of that I look at when it comes to tools is durability. Landon spoke about that when it comes to battery life of the Makita brand, right? And I mentioned, Milwaukee. Milwaukee's pretty good when it comes to that battery life as well. But once again, these are big brands that had time to do the research and development, the R&D, to develop the technology of their tools to a higher level. The little guy, he doesn't have that. He's just getting in the game. He's getting his feet wet. He doesn't have the deep pockets for R&D to make it, to make the better tool brand. So you see, it's a matter of timing, and this all contributes to, once again, perceived value. Okay, so I'm not knocking the process, but I want people to be more of a critical thinker, right? Think critically, not just follow the crowd when they say, "Oh, that's better," and they're laughing at that guy because he has this. All right, Landon said, I wouldn't care because the basic Ryobi has a magnetic base, which is great, and a pretty good light. Yep, you're right about that. I could dismantle an entire furnace and keep all the screws on the base of the Ryobi. Good starter. Yeah, that's right. The thing about Ryobi is, and believe it or not, Ryobi is actually owned by, I don't know, but a U.S. company, right? It's not a foreign company. They know who their market is, right? They're not going after the tradesmen. They're going after the average Joe, the average Jane who likes to work on their house, who likes to do a lot of DIY stuff. They're not in the business of making tools for it. They dominate the lawn care space in the Home Depot, right? They got the brushless lawn mowers, right? They got the blowers, the weed eaters, and all that stuff, right? That's for the average guy, right? Or even the lawn care business, right? And if you go down the power tool line aisle, then you have Milwaukee, you have Rigid, you got Ryobi is there as well. DeWalt, you got guys like that dominating that space. The hand tool aisle, it's more of a husky aisle, right? You got other little brands littered on that aisle too, but Husky kind of dominates that. So everybody has their own little niche in the hardware world, right? Paragon Life Note says, in some cases, brand name no longer means quality, just marketing budgets. Mass production compromise quality. Yes, absolutely. That's exactly what I was saying there, Paragon Life Notes. Don't be fooled by brand. Okay, I mean, let's think about it. Look at the cars today compared to the cars built in the 1950s and prior to that. I mean, they're just like paper thin, right? They look nice and shiny, and they got all the bells and whistles, but most likely you're really not going to survive in a head-on collision. Cars back in the day were made of metal, but you know, it's all about the bottom line. It's all about the bottom line, and you got to think about that. Okay, so don't just go after brand names. Go after, you know, quality, durability, all that stuff, and know what you're gonna do. I mean, know what you're getting into. If you're not going to be using the tool that much, why spend all that money on a Fest tool or even some, you know, expensive tools that Milwaukee or one of these higher end brands offer? You don't need it that much. Do you want to look good in front of your friends when you're out there doing something with the tool? I don't know. If that's what you, if that's how you conduct your life, then you know, then I feel for you, man. Um, yeah. So let's go on. It's pretty entertaining reading this, reading some of these quotes. Everyone thinks they bought the best brand. I use all the brands, as some uh, make a certain tool better than others, right? And I'm sure these companies know, hey, my competitor over there, they make this better than me, but that's really not my, you know, that's not, I'm not worried about that. They can have that market share, but I make this better than them, right? Or this is my niche. This is my market over here. This is what I dominate. You know, I tend to think that even though these people call themselves competitors, they do have an understanding, right? They know which lane not to cross over too much on. Like I said, Ryobi, you know, they seem to dominate the lawn care space in the Home Depot, right? They have all the equipment there, lawn care equipment. But you also see Milwaukee tool, lawn care equipment, and what's the other one? I think you see DeWalt too. DeWalt has a brand of lawnmowers as well. So and once again, Ryobi has a setup, is on the power tool aisle as well. So everybody's allowed to kind of bleed into each other's world a little bit, and they know how far to go. I'm assuming. I'm not on. You know, I'm not a corporate, you know, head of a big corporate in the corporate world like that. But I'm just assuming, right, based on what I see and the consistency of what I see, right. Certain brands don't cross over, right, into other brands. Like Husky has, they have a foothold in the plumbing industry. You know, they got little plumbing tools there as well. So, you know, it's an interesting dynamic, right? I would love to be in the boardrooms of these companies understanding their strategy. But it seems like everybody gets to live together without too much of a problem, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, like I said, everybody thinks they got the best brand. I use all the brands, as some make a certain tool better than others. This person said, yeah, I'm under no delusion I bought the quote unquote best brand. I buy Ryobi because it's cheap, it's good enough, and I get more bang for my buck as a homeowner. Okay. That's the kicker right there. He says homeowner. You as a homeowner, you don't need to be worried about getting the best brand, right? Think about what is the best situation, the best tool for the best tool for that particular situation. That's how you need to think. He also said, I've got a rainbow of colors with assorted corded tools I've added on top of it. They work well and I'm happy. Yeah. Blindly clutching to a single brand is fanboyism. That's a new one. Fanboyism. I've got bigger problems to solve than having a tool set that matches colors. Yeah, now that's the mature way to think about it, guys. Right? That's the mature way to think about it. You'll see me up in Harbor Freight all day long looking at stuff, right? They got some good stuff in there for what you know, small jobs you need to do. They know their market and they're not trying to be the best brand, and they're doing just fine. Okay, let's see here. Adult age humans are actually scared little toddlers. I'm assuming they're talking about the people that, you know, the followers, the fanboys that drool over this particular tool and roast you to death because you don't have what they have. It's like the Ford and Chevy guys, right? You know, it's just grown men tripping over tools like that. It's just funny. It's just funny. Let's see. All right. So come on in, guys. Tell me what you think about this subject. If you don't have to agree with me. If you're a diehard Tool fan, Tool person, and you feel that I'm talking a lot of nonsense, then let me know. I love to debate. You don't always have to agree here. You know, you don't always have to agree with what I say. Let's see. So here's something you should think about. Like I said, will it save you time? Okay, is this tool going to save you time? Is it gonna, is it gonna make the end result a lot better for you? The whole point is do research. I'm an avid fan of research myself. Okay, and I'm not just saying out there to go out there and just get whatever tool, right? Because yeah, I'll be honest, there are some pretty, probably crappy tools out there, right? But the average tools you see in the stores right there, they'll do the job just fine. Just fine. You don't have to trip on brand or anything like that. Here's something. When a brand says their new product will set new standards, but they don't elaborate, and they said the same exact thing about its, about the predecessor of that particular tool, they say the wool is being pulled over your eyes. It's all about marketing, man. It's all about matter of fact, I see some of the best marketers in the tool game. I've seen some of the best marketers in the tool game. Okay, and I mean, good marketing can get you far when it doesn't equate to quality. It doesn't equate to quality. Okay, that's what they get paid for. They get paid to hype it up, and make it the best thing in the world, and empty your pockets, and that thing will be sitting in your, I don't know, sitting in your basement for the rest of the year, and you only use it one time. Yeah. So, all right. All right, guys. So come on in the chat. Tell me what you think. Let's see here. Tell me what you think, guys, about this. I mean, I got all kinds of, I'm looking at my shelf here. I got DeWalt's, I got Ryobi's, I got Ridgid, I got Craig, I got just about it, all brands you could think of here. And Matco, doesn't matter to me. Doesn't matter to me. Okay. And, at the end of the day, if it gets the job done, that's all I care about. That's all I care about. Okay. So here's a guy. I use DeWalt 20-volt stuff and Milwaukee M12 stuff. I like to stir the pot with my friends. I can't say that word. So he's saying his friends have they're all about DeWalt or Milwaukee, and they say they argue over that. So that person right there, he's not really serious, but he likes to mess with the guys that are serious about the tool brands and stuff like that. Mastercraft. What do you guys think about that brand? He said Mastercraft is worse than Ryobi. Really? I tell you. Somebody says, as a professional, this is a professional tradesman. He said it's dumb. It's just dumb to care about that. As long as the tools work. Okay, as long as the tools work. And somebody said, I have Snap-on and Harbor Freight tools. That's what they have, and they're fine with that. Okay, but guys, there's nothing wrong with having preferences. Okay, so I'm not knocking you if you have a particular preference. But just don't get carried away with it. Okay, it's just not worth it. It's just not worth your bank account being drained because you want to keep up with the Joneses in terms of who has the best tools, who has the ergonomics. To me is also another aspect that I didn't mention. Ergonomics is how the tool feels and all that stuff, the comfort in your hand and ease of use of the tool. That's very important too. Okay, so if you're shopping for a tool, pick it up and see how it feels to you. One brand may feel better than the other brand in your hands. That's important too, because that, if you're using tools day in and day out, if you're one of those guys, then you do want to get something that's, comfortable, maybe a little lighter, a little more compact, things that don't necessarily have to do with power, but with comfort, right? Because, you could develop problems, if you're, carpal tunnel syndrome and all that stuff later in life, right? So yeah, when it comes to quality, that's one of the aspects that I look at is, how does the tool feel, right? The ergonomics of the tool and all that stuff. So 3 things I look at: durability, ergonomics, and then perceived value. Am I buying this tool because everybody said it's good, or am I buying it because I did the research on it? I may have had some experience with it. I like it, instead of just being a blind follower. Okay. Pack behavior. Yeah, that's a good way to describe it. Pack behavior. It shouldn't be anyone's business because we all have different circumstances, preferences, and requirements. I have mostly DeWalt, but also a lot of Milwaukee, Makita, and Ryobi. There you go. Milwaukee has a big following, partially because of a lot of companies use Milwaukee, specifically mining in my area, Canada. They're all on Milwaukee gear. I'm quite a Milwaukee fan for cordless power tools, but you'll never see me using a Milwaukee wrench or screwdriver. Back to, they know their niche. He said he wouldn't use a Milwaukee wrench or screwdriver. I don't even know if I've seen a Milwaukee wrench or screwdriver. Well, I guess they got them. But when it comes to stuff like that, you're talking about Huskies. Husky is the hand tool. They dominate the hand tool space. Power tools and stuff like that. You're talking about Milwaukee and all those other brands like Makitas and stuff like that. So, and you'll only know that because of experience. This guy said, "My father hated Black & Decker. I use Black & Decker." It's not that I think they are fabulous tools, but this is a lady talking. I'm a short woman, and Black & Decker are a better size for my smaller hands. I remember when he saw my Black & Decker drill, he was horrified. Yeah, I mean, how small-minded could you be? I'm not trying to insult the lady's father here, but this is a lady. She doesn't need something bigger. Her hands are small. Black & Decker had the tools that fit her hands better. That's what I'm talking about when I mentioned ergonomics, right? It was better for her, right? And that's how you got to look at it when you go out there shopping for tools. You don't just walk in the store and say, "Oh, I want a Milwaukee," or "I want a Makita, I want a DeWalt." No, especially if you're a lady with smaller hands. You may need something a little, less intense. Okay. This person said, I find it weird when people take pride in things they had nothing to do with, made no contribution to other than paying customers. What it says, other than being a paying customer. Exactly. That being said, I totally get why people have preferences. I love my M12 drill drivers, but I also have a Ryobi set on the bench and a corded beat to scrap drywall screw gun laying around, and I'll use whatever is closest, has the right bit already loaded up. Yeah. At work, I also just use the tools we have in the truck and give no second thought. Much of it is Craftsman and Harbor Freight, since we can walk into Lowe's or Harbor Freight and get warranty replacements in any of the cities we work in. So yeah, that's what you call being wise, right? Warranty. That he mentioned a good point there. Does it have warranties on it, right? Most tools do, but yeah, you got to look at those things. Someone else sums it up as tribalism. Yep, that's what it is. So all these guys that come in my comment and roast me for using a particular brand of tool, I would call you a follower. That's what I would call you. Okay. So yeah, it's an interesting subject. Let me see here. Landon says, Nothing wrong with Black & Decker or Fisher Price. Yeah, exactly, right? There's nothing wrong with that stuff. You know, you're not going to be, building like a skyscraper or something like that, or just get what you need. Get what you need for the job, and you'll be just fine. So, all right, guys. So anyway, guys, that's all I really wanted to come on here and rant about. But I appreciate you guys coming on. Landon, Very Good Life Notes, and anybody else watching now in the replay. Appreciate you guys coming on and supporting. And hopefully you got something out of this live as well. So guys, I will see you next time, next Tuesday. And thanks for coming on in. See you next time.